Rise, son of Gilliman. Hello everyone, this is your host Legend, and welcome back to my channel. This is the continuation of my series Champions, where we take a dive into one of the characters of Warhammer 40k Tacticus. The champion of the day is Demetrian Titus, former lieutenant and current captain of the Ultramarines, 2nd Company. Titus is typically a mid to late game unlock. He generally fits a role of survivability, and if we try to fit him into a guild raid team, he'd probably fit best with the multi-hit guild raid team of old. His stats at Gold 1, Epic Rarity, 3 red stars is as follows: 2,536 health, 613 damage, and 667 armor. He has a movement stat of 3 and deals 4 hits of chain damage in melee combat. He can equip a crit item, defense item, and a crit booster. Titus's active ability is a melee attack called Tactical Precision. It performs 2 different attacks based on the circumstances it was used. At level 35, if Titus charges the targeted enemy, the attack does 1 hit of 1,141 to 1,426 points of bolter damage, with a guaranteed crit that deals an additional 285 points of damage. This attack can be classified as a precision attack. If he doesn't charge the targeted enemy, this ability does 714 to 1,027 points of chain damage to all enemies adjacent to Titus. This attack can be classified as a sweep attack. If revived or resurrected, Tactical Precision can be used again. This ability can be modified, meaning it can benefit from his passive ability in effects such as High Ground. Tactical Precision is typically best to take care of a swarm of enemies. The precision attack is usually a weaker effect in most cases. You can move Titus to position him onto a better hex to use his active while still maintaining the sweep attack. His passive ability is a buff called Fueled by Fury. At level 35, when a friendly character uses their active ability, Titus gains a stack that allows all his attacks to deal an additional 72 damage. These stacks have no limit and can theoretically go as high as you're willing to push it. The first time he is defeated in battle, Titus cannot be overkilled and will perform an attack via his Final Vengeance trait. If an enemy is killed from this attack, he revives immediately with 2,139 health. This effect can only trigger once per turn. This part of his passive can be bypassed via any attack that has a guaranteed overkill, such as Maldus's active ability. Fueled by Fury makes an already powerful melee attacker, like Titus, just even more terrifying. Outside of a guaranteed overkill, the best way to eliminate Titus is from range, or with a melee unit who can endure the attack. As a battle goes on, it will only get harder to close the distance, and if you're not careful, Titus will tear a hole right into your lines. Titus has only 2 traits: Beast Slayer and Final Vengeance. Beast Slayer allows him to deal additional damage to big targets and vehicles, while giving Titus an additional 10% chance to block 20% of his max health as damage, making him even harder to kill. Final Vengeance allows him to make one final attack in the case he is killed and an enemy is in melee range, as long as he was not overkilled. So where does Titus shine best? Well, typically he shines best in Tournament Arena, specifically any non-faction war variation. His stats, traits, and abilities lend to a character that is hard to kill and can hit like a freight train with the correct setup, as long as you're careful to ensure he is not killed from range and or has a target that can be killed right next to him. It proves difficult to remove him permanently from a battlefield. He also proves to be a great addition for horde modes, where his enduring nature can ensure he does not fall in battle, and his sweep attack can remove up to 6 enemies at once. And he can be most effective in guild wars, where he proves to be a most powerful unit in both offensive and defensive needs. Who does Titus pair well with? Titus can be used to good effect with multiple characters. As we usually do, we will start with the Ultramarines, where he stands as one of the better options for the team. When working with his team, I think you are best keeping him near either Calgar, Incisus, or both of them. By keeping him near the Calgar, you push his damage to further extremes, and by keeping him near the Incisus, you basically guarantee he cannot be eliminated in a vast majority of cases. Like many characters though, he synergizes best with those not in his own faction, and like every other melee character, we have to start with Ragnar. Ragnar is still one of the best options for buffing melee attackers, and Titus is no different. The extra damage, plus crit chance, plus temporary unstoppable trait makes any unit that can be buffed by Ragnar a menace. Take someone like Titus, who is pretty good on his own already, and you just make an absolute threat. Alongside Ragnar, we can add boss Golgorts and Unshi, mainly for their ability to give buffs to their team, namely a +1 movement and a bonus damage. Golgorts definitely does both of these better in the short term, but Unshi does this better in the long term. Now, I like to give a fun team, so let's round out our choices with someone like Eldron or Calgar to give an additional buff to damage dealt by your team. Again, this is more to go for more of a fun route, whereas your average but powerful Alpha Strike team will typically do better with Titus. Note that the Alpha Strike team typically consists of characters like Ragnar, Karn, Mateo, Unshi, Celestine, and of course Titus. The Alpha Strike setup is tried and tested, and will rarely fail you in battle, but I always want to suggest trying to find weird and fun synergies, since it is part of what makes Tacticus so damned enjoyable. As for shard acquisition, Titus currently does not have any shards that can be acquired in a campaign, meaning the only way you can get shards before he is unlocked is via requisition scrolls. If you have him unlocked, you can also get his shards via onslaughts. That about wraps up this video. This is your host Legend, signing off.